What the city is talking about. This is Montreal Now on News Talk Radio, CJAD 800.
Good evening, Dan Delmar, Justin McIntyre in for Aaron this week. That sound means it's time for James MENNIE of the Montreal Gazette. Hello, sir.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
Let's begin with Kamala Harris, the Democratic nominee. Montreal angle, James. How exciting is that for us?
Oh, well, she went to Westmount High. I think that's not the. I don't think that's the angle people be talking about. In fact, it's kind of funny how one weekend can change everything, guys. I remember we were talking Friday afternoon. Joe Biden said he's going to be back on the campaign trail on Monday.
He did say that.
Yeah.
He did. And the thing is, what happened on the weekend? Did Jill, his wife, stand behind him with a mirror while he stood in front of a mirror and show him there was no room left in his back for the shivs being shoved in there by his friends in the Democratic Party? I think he was ousted, and I think that one element that we're not looking at right now but is going to deserve scrutiny down the road is whether the Democrat elite that is responsible for the ouster of Joe Biden, I know they think they're the smartest people in the room, but whether they can get away with screwing over 14 million voters remains to be seen. I think the poll numbers are going to be very, very interesting. The other thing is, and I know I've heard a lot of this, you guys have been talking about it, and of course it's all weekend. Oh, we can't wait for Kamala Harris to debate Donald Trump. He's not going to debate it. He's simply not going to debate it. And the fact is, the currency of debates, the value of debates in the modern electoral system, as we've seen in this country as well. Trudeau won his election without going to the Monk debate. There was a couple of other debates he turned down. It's now become quite de rigueur. It's not political suicide. In fact, quite the reverse. It's political survival sometimes if you avoid debates. And quite frankly, I'm sorry, guys, I can't think of a country, apart from perhaps South Africa, where everything is looked at through the prism of race as the United States. And I think whether Donald Trump says it out loud or his surrogates say it out loud, I think a big part of his campaign is going to be, do you want a black woman in the White House? And I think America is not yet ready to answer that question. I'm sure there'll be all the proper lip service and nothing against Madam Harris. But I think fundamentally, I think there's a bit of jitters on the part of everyone on whether or not this is a candidacy that is going to be, how can I put it, accepted by the mainstream of voters, Democrats included. And I found it interesting. I noticed that the New York Times, which continues to run interference for Donald Trump, now says that, Barack Obama did not mention Kamala Harris in his farewell message to Joseph Biden because he wants to be perceived as a neutral elder statesman, that he wants there to be an open contest, I guess, rather than a coronation. I'm not entirely sure that this is the wrong approach to take because, frankly, I'm not entirely sure, despite the almost manic reaction we've seen in the past 73 hours to events, I'm not entirely sure this is going to be as cut and dry as a lot of people are thinking it's going to be today.
Very interesting, James. Yeah, certainly we're not done talking about the Kamala Harris nomination if it does happen. I want to turn now to Canadian politics here. The Liberals have launched a website targeting Pierre Poilievre. Is that a little bit preemptive?
Well, the event itself doesn't intrigue me, but the timing does. Because we get these. The newsroom's got these emails today. We put a thing together called, Le Bilan de Pierre, Pierre's record, and you look at this, and there's nothing really new. A lot of the complaints about Poilievre, about things he's said, things he's done, that raised the hackles of the Liberals, and in fact raised the hackles of a lot of Canadians. But I'm looking at the piece of merchandise itself, and I'm wondering. Could this be a presage to perhaps a snap election call? It's the merest germ of an idea, guys. But it occurs to me there is no good time for Justin Trudeau to call an election, not with these numbers. And I think the only way those numbers are going to go is down. Things are just going to get worse. If he intends to stick to his guns, as he increasingly seems ready to do, why not rip off the Band-Aid, go to the polls in the fall, surprise the hell out of everybody, and begin with a full-fledged assault on Pierre Poilievre? I know the Tories, like Kamala Harris, have raised millions in campaign funds, but the fact is your money's only going to help you so much. And I really wonder if we're at the point now where we all might be surprised between now and Labor Day with an announcement from a guy who was supposed to be taking a walk in the snow or through a summer evening, that in fact he's going to go to electoral war in the fall.
The website, by the way, is pierresrecord.ca, and it's clever. It's very. I think they're picking up from where the Conservative left off, and being a bit more aggressive on their digital strategy. And you can share each point on social media. There's a little clip next to it. So 1, it says work to bring American-style anti-union laws to Canada. Hit share there. 2, received a government pension at 31, then raised the retirement age on hardworking Canadians. Share, etc. So.
And you can vote on these. You can actually, you can click on a little clown face icon, and you can vote on these. But I'm sure there are people out there who will clutch their pearls down and say, well, clearly he's dragged the Liberals down to his level. But you know what? That's why I'm wondering what the heck is going on. I don't think these things happen in a vacuum. There are plenty of things the Liberals could and could not do. And there's a by-election coming up. Do you really think they want to go through the embarrassment or the risk of having a second by-election defeat? Why not just, put everything, bet everything on black 14 on the roulette table, call a general, and let's get it over with.
Yeah, I agree. Let's get it over with. Great way to sum it up. I think that should be our attitude.
Well, at the same time, that was the gamble that President Macron made in France. That didn't really work out in his favor.
Well, listen, here's the thing. In Canada, let's face it, the political spectrum is pretty simple. In France, there's a cavalcade. It's a kaleidoscope.
Yeah.
Of political affiliations. There's left, right, and the middle, and each of those sections have their own labyrinthine systems of extreme right, extreme left, middle left, kind of left, left of party. It can be very, very confusing, and plus the system is not quite the same as ours. But here, I think it's pretty straightforward, and you've got a choice. You've got Justin Trudeau or you have Pierre Poilievre. If you want to start going after Poilievre, now would be a good time to do so. If you want to take that, like I say, if you want to drop the writ, you want to hit them hard, hit them fast, get it over with, I think this would be an interesting way to start, guys.
James MENNIE of the Montreal Gazette. Thanks, James.
Have a minute.